background music for me. So, today we're gonna try to make an abstract artwork using Adobe Photoshop. So welcome to this. We made a new file. Background layer, doesn't really matter. I like to start with a white background. Many people like to make a different color. If you want to make it a different color, go ahead. And I would recommend, if you change the color, to change it up to something pretty light, more light, instead of a really dark. Or you could go also really dark, but not like in the middle, like this is too. Well, anything can work, of course. All depends on taste and what you wanna go for. I'm gonna go for this grayish. So let's start out on the next layer. I always like to go with one of the Adobe brushes that are actually built to be used with a drawing tablet, a Wacom drawing tablet, or any kind of brand. But at the moment I'm also using mouse, so I also use them with mouse. You can set them up as well, however you want. I like this one as well. See here you can like add subtract. Maybe make it a bit thicker. That's a stiff. I like and add a bit of an angle. Yes. We're gonna add an angle. Let's see what this gives. Because mostly I use the standard one because I would like the standard. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, nice. I can work with this. So the way you do this is like a normal brush. If you drag it in one direction, it goes smoothly. You can draw like lines. But if you make like turns, you can see your brush hairs are splitting up and stuff. So you can start making nice shapes with it once you start to know how the brush reacts. So at the start, oh, yeah. I pressed the wrong one. Wrong shortcut. I press a lot of shortcuts at the same time. But let's go. I like this brush setup, so I'm gonna try to make like a nice. Oh, that's gonna try to. Oh, I went too fast. I went too well, but now okay. Like I try to make a nice shape with it. Yeah, you can make whatever shape like you want, of course, in whatever composition. I'm going from here. And you just go, you make sure your coverage isn't too high. So you can have like a difference in contrast and in light and stuff. And I like to have the middle part where I'm building on darker, and on the side I like to have it flow out a bit more. I want it. Yes. A bit more like that. Yes. Make it a bit more wanky down below here, not too straight. Add a few layers so you have like really difference. Oh, something about long brushes. Yeah, nice. Well, this is the first color, first part. I'm gonna go back, new layer, and we're gonna choose a second color. And with this one, I have a few colors here that suit each other really well, but you would like to look out for colors you like and that go well together. That's the main part. Have them go well together. You can still change the colors afterwards, but if they don't go well together, if you change them afterwards, they probably won't go well together either, unless you like change every color individually, which will take you more time, but also still possible. So don't worry too much if you might mess up. Oh, I have very sensitive keyboard, so I sometimes yes. I'm gonna put this color in the back more of this shape. Oh, that was too far. I don't like it going up the side at the start too much. And down below we're gonna make it a little bit more rugged again. It's pretty fun to play with like this. And you can like always get new ideas when you do this. And eventually you can finish up the details a bit better, of course. This is all just now about making the basic composition and also making a few like interesting shapes like this part here that has like the transparency and stuff. It will become something nice later. Gonna add a little bit here also where there's a little bit less. The gray. Not too much over there because I don't want to make it all green, yeah? Okay. Yes, now I'm gonna go again back. This one. I'll put my brush a bit smaller. Make the coverage maybe a little bit less now. Add a few smaller detail things in here. And over it. You can always zoom in for that also, if you prefer that. I like to have a complete view of the scene at a lot of times. I'll zoom in when necessary, but for this guide I probably won't zoom in that much. But you never know. I never know at the start what I'm really gonna make, so I'm just being inspired by the moments and by, well, the music and stuff. Also, it's also a nice thing. You want to be in a nice mood when you do this. It can help you find a nice mood as well, but I prefer to have an okay mood when starting. It helps the creativity, creative flows going. Okay, like this, we have a basic start. You can stop with 2 colors. You can go further. I'm gonna go a bit further now. I'm gonna go for a 3rd color. I'll make my brush a bit bigger again. And take this red. It should, as you can see on the lower coverage side, it looks a bit more orangey. So it fits it really nice. The more times you go over the same area, of course, it gets darker, which would be logical. As you can see, this is all just basically just using the brush on different coverages. Not even anything specifically with layers. You could do this all on one layer, but I like to have it on different layers so you can adjust the layer composition as well later on. You just want to add some of like red highlights in there. Not too much out of it, but a little bit. And some parts you want to make it like more deeper red. Now, like we have this shape, I'm gonna duplicate all those layers, and then I'm gonna merge those duplications. And now, why is that? I like this filter to use it. At the moment I'm using this on my current designs and works. I like using this workflow. But you don't have to use this filter. You can also do it with a lot of other ways, but today we're going with the filter, this one. And as you can see, you can the liquefying makes your paint like liquid. And if you ever have seen those videos on YouTube where they use like liquid painting and stuff, you can create shapes that they get, but just you create them yourself, and you have more control on what goes on. So I prefer to make things a bit smoother with this, and you have a lot of different options here. It's like this is bloating, so you take the center point and it goes outwards from the center. So you bloat, you make like a big bloaty eye. It can be nice to create some. No, I went too far. Oh, now my computer is like loading a bit. This is heavy filter on your computer, so watch out with that. I did it again. But yeah, basically you use this, keep using this filter a bit until you made stuff a bit more smooth where you wanted it to be more smooth, or have more twirls and stuff. That's a bit too much. I like this here, but not too much. I like this. This is good. I'll try to make one here as well, like this. Yeah. I can build on that again. Of course, at the start it won't go so smooth all the time. Like, not every time it will go so smooth. Sometimes you'll notice what you made before this doesn't really suit this way. Then you'll have to use something else for it, which we'll see in later guides. Probably. It all depends on how it goes for me. I like to spread out. I like this kind of flowy the wings. As you can see, I'm kind of happy with this. Okay. You can also adjust a lot of different settings here, like for if you do it with faces and stuff. A lot of masks. This is also really good if you want to get rid of wrinkles and stuff from your photo pictures you take of yourself and stuff. Really good wrinkle remover. But if you use it too boldly on those pictures, you'll notice, and then you'll end up on the internet as a meme. As one of those girls who tightened her waist, and you can see the walls in the back also twirling around. And that, yeah, sometimes you have wait times like this. It all depends on how fast your computer is, so don't worry if it takes a while. Also, I'm working on a really big file size. I'm working on like 100 centimeters on 60 centimeters, and all that on 300 dpi. Preferably, if you're like learning, you would use 72 dpi. It's great for screen, but not for printing. But it's good for learning. It will go faster. And don't take a too big of a size. Like go like 1800 pixels to like 1000 pixels, or like take general screen resolution like 1920 1080. Yeah. Alright. Here we are. After this stage, I like to save. Why? Because your computer has loaded a lot, your memory has used a lot already. Well, for me at least. And you don't want the crash to ruin everything, so I'm gonna give this a name. WorkShop1. Now, And from now on, every few steps you press Control S to save, and that way you'll never have to work back too much in case of a crash. Now, as you can see, we have this new big piece, and I always like to inspect it on a background by turning off layers. At the moment it turned out really cool, actually. Even with all those layers on. I'm gonna check out what I did last time. I'm gonna use this one, but on a different layer style. So at the start you have the darker ones, which gives you more shadows and contrasts. Then you have the lighter ones, which can give you real nice highlights and stuff as well. And you have like combinations and different ones. And you just I go with something I like. A lot of times I would go with like one of these two. Preferably this one because you still have the saturation of your colors and stuff as well. Or I would go with the cover, which is also a pretty nice one. The intense and linear ones are also ones I really like, because they give it and make it crazy. And eventually you can fix the contrast later and stuff, because as you can see this has too much contrast, but you can always adjust that later on. I don't know, I'm gonna change to this one, and then I'm gonna check a bit closer, see how it looks over there. And I'm kinda actually still liking it very much. But yeah, I like blue a lot, so that's probably why as well. And I like highly saturated colors. Okay, I'm gonna go with this one. Let's see. Maybe. Because I also really want to use that green and orange ones for the real colors. But I'm gonna still go with this fully. Okay. Oh. No. I'm taking a new layer and I'm gonna show you what other tool you could have used instead of that liquify filter. I'm gonna use the wet finger tool, the smudge tool. And now I have set up for before. A really big one. And I'm gonna start small, not too big. Not too small for me because I'm working a really large canvas. Just the standard hard round brush. It's really good to learn it with this much, no? Because once you learn it with this instead of smudge brushes and stuff, you learn to control it way more. But I can show you. I'll probably show you how to make some smudge brushes later and stuff. Because they're really handy. But with this, you want to have the sample all layers on for this stage. If you're working on a layer with already, like say for instance we would work on our layer with a filter on it, then you could turn that off because you already have a sample to take. But now we're working on an empty layer, so we want to take a sample from the previous layers. So now we can take like these colors and we can move them like this. As you can see, it's pretty simple motion that it gives. We're gonna stop it there. It will probably go faster for you guys because you're working on a smaller size. Less DPI. And now I turn it off because I already have my paint here. I'm gonna adjust it a bit, try to adjust it away to what I more wanted. And this is going smoother because it doesn't take all the data from every layer now. And as you can see, you can work back at it and stuff. Like only pull out certain sections. I like this part so far. Save it again. And I think a bigger brush. No layer because I'm gonna go a bit bigger. A whole lot bigger. Yes, this size. This is gonna take a while for me. For you guys, if you do it with a big brush like this, it shouldn't take this big. But now we're gonna add a big piece over in this area. We're gonna work on this area later, but you also want some white space, of course. Go from here, this one. I don't exactly know what to expect, but I kinda know what to expect because I did this a whole lot of times. That's why I can do this with the loading and stuff. But at the same time, maybe in 5 minutes when my computer is ready and we get the result, I might not like it and press Ctrl Z and have to try again. And that's also part of this trial and error. But now we can wait a little bit. How long? It depends on how much of motions you have made and stuff, of course. And I made quite a few circles going like weird. Because I want a bit of an effect, like of a circle, like which I made here a little bit in this small circle. Yeah, let's see what it's gonna give, of course. But while you're doing this, you could like check Photoshop, check your emails, check your cell phone, listen to the music like I'm doing now. That's why I like to have music on. I have something to do at the same time. Or look at some magazines and stuff that inspires you and stuff. I would just suggest don't try to do too much on your computer as well, because it will make it slower, go slower, because you're using your memory for other things than Photoshop. Oh yeah, that's also something I forgot to say. When you start it, you probably will have enough with the basic settings for memory usage. But once you go very big, like I am doing, you'll wanna give Photoshop more of your RAM memory to use, and try to not have too much open while you're running Photoshop. Oh, this is really slow. I can see some stuff moving over here, but it's like it's only done this part so far, so it's gonna take a while from this. So I'm gonna take a little break here now, and once we get back, we'll see the result. So I'll hear you guys later. back. And it seems it hasn't moved that much so far. It's slowly going. But at the same time, this is also a really good time to like look at other parts and details of your work to discover and see what you're gonna do next. And where you might want to change some stuff, add some more details later on. And maybe try to decide already where you want your lighting to go, because as you can see, you start to get some darker and lighter parts. So it's a really good time to decide also where you want your light sources and stuff to go later on. And what you want to get more in the background, what more in the foreground. Because depth is something that's really important as well in these kind of works. And yeah, the details I'm liking at the moment is like this. Okay, like parts. This orb here, I really like orbs. And it's starting to get like a little shine here, so it's starting to look more 3D-esque as well. Then you have this like nice cave fiery effect, which looks pretty cool. Which also nicely leads the eye into this section. And I like the divide of this like straight web. Over here, we go up here. I also really like a few of these details over here and over here. I'm probably gonna go like add some light here, some light here, maybe here, here some little bits, over here, so, and here a little bit. And then we'll see what this part gives as well. And some darker parts, and probably on the side here, make this part darker in the background. This whole side a bit, no, over here a bit darker, except like you have some light sources going here. And then from over here I'm gonna make it more of a light source coming in. Maybe make it more come over from here and have the top as well a bit darker. Oh my, this is gonna take a while. I'll see something moving. No, I think it's my imagination that's moving it at the moment, so no. We'll see. After a while you don't totally see it, so best thing you can do in these circumstances is just go grab something to drink and go read up a bit of something. Because like you don't have to wait for it like I'm doing now. But if you decide to wait, be sure to put on good music. This is just a random drum and bass mix from YouTube that I'm listening now, but there's a lot of music you can listen to while making this. And I also find that it influences my color choices and stuff, depending on what music I listen to. I like to listen to happy kinds of music while designing. Makes you more energetic. Right. Don't know if it's still doing something, but yeah. Just have to wait. That's the only thing we can do right now. Wait. Until the smudge effect is finished. That's why it's recommended to go with smaller smudge brushes. especially when working this big of a size, but I like to have like big details here and there, and this method can give me a lot of those big objects I want. You can also paint them and stuff. I like a little bit of the effect this gives. And the smudge tool used to be my main tool of making these designs. I used to just use the brush tool to add like a few dots of 100% paint on my canvas, and then I took the brush tool out and started the smudge tool out and started smudging it out into the shapes I wanted, and then adding other colors over it, and then smudging them out again into the shapes I wanted it to go over. That's also a real fun way to do it, but once you get to bigger sizes and stuff, it can get really slow. But since you're only smudging like one color then, and one layer, it will go smoother, because you don't have to sample. Oh my god! No, that's why nothing's moving. I forgot to do the add samples. Oh, ho, 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 my god. This is dumb. But luckily it's just finished. Now we're gonna try this again. I'm not gonna use that much of a motion this time. I'm just gonna use a small motion. This shouldn't take that long. Since it's going like this slow at the moment, I'm gonna use some others effects and stuff to shape those shapes I want. And here, there's details. And I'm kinda have been starting to like how it's looking down below here without anything even. As you can see now, we can finally actually see some of the thing it does. See, it starts moving here, this big shape. I like. See, you can see like this. Even you can take it like this. It's pretty fun. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it like there for now, and then going through there. So sometimes you get a real cool effect. Well, I like to go just scroll through them, even though I don't plan on using them so far. Yeah, I like this, which this made. And it didn't take so long, so I'm gonna keep going with a few of these. This might take a while, but no, I'm gonna risk it. Let's go. Don't worry about details below it. You can change the opacity, change everything, and you can still move it around to show the details. And you grab a hold of those details as well. As you could see here, you have like, this is what we moved, this like line where my cursor is over at the moment, and everything inside of that didn't really change too much. Well, it got a little bit more blurry. Shouldn't be too long anymore. Gonna go around, I think once, twice maybe. with that you can also do more of the circle size. And more of that line that I talked about earlier that you can see removed in here. We just took the details with us. Just the further you go, the blurrier they become. And the more you move around. That also gives a nice effect, as you'll see. Well, at least I think so. And since this is the style I created for myself, I should be one of the people who likes it. So now we're going back. We did this motion, then we came back, and now we're going back. Gives them like these nice soft edges. Since you cut into that line you moved. And the blurry parts like give it a sense of depth. Seeing as this is before that, and our eyes are focused on this, so this part that comes before it should be way ahead of it because it's like blurry already, so that's why you can see sense of depth and stuff through this. But this also sometimes just gives a nice lighting effect, so again, I like to scroll through the layer options. Like stuff like this can sometimes be really advantage for adding light sources and stuff. But again, as the previous one, this one isn't going to give anything that I want. So let's go like this. Gonna save again because it took a while to do that part again. Okay, next part. Now we're gonna add a bit in the background, foreground. I like having some textures in there. Now we're gonna see what it gives when you're going back to the brush tool. This time we're gonna kind of create kind of our own brush. I'm gonna want some like cloud smoke textures like that I want to make myself. So take a brush tool. You can make soft. Now let's go. Like in between 35% softness. Shape dynamics. I'm gonna make a size jitter, so there's smaller ones, bigger ones. The more you put this, the smaller they can get, or the bigger the size difference. You can add a minimum diameter, but mostly an angle jitter. You might wonder why, because they're round, but no, not totally, because we're gonna do that with roundness as well, because clouds and stuff and smoke doesn't just all circles. It can be all kind of shapes. I'm gonna spread that a bit on both axes. Increase the numbers, but also have a jitter in there. I'll make cloud. Spread not too much on both axes. It's more random. I'm gonna try it with the green we had now. Okay, I'm gonna sample a color now because our colors changed from before, of course. I'm gonna sample. Yeah, this brush tool. Yeah, we're gonna wanna make our diameter much bigger because we're just wanna make background stuff and it's changing size. So as you can see, also with a small coverage, you can see like a little bit coming there, but okay. I wanted this part to have like a bit more darkness, so I'm gonna start it here. and I'm clicking a few times each if I wanted to add some darker parts and stuff. Don't worry about going over and stuff. At the moment we're actually going under it, so don't worry about that at all. And as I said before, I wanna have it a bit lighter over on this side, so I'm gonna leave it a bit. Add some darkness over here a bit. A bit more here as well. Okay, I'm happy with this. Now I'm gonna go over it. No, we're still gonna keep it going in the back. I'm gonna do that later, the other part. On that. Let's see with the red part here. If you put that on. You can see we're adding a little bit of the light source already in the background now. We put it on layer linear stop. And that, the darker your color, the brighter it will be in here now as well. It's really nice if you want to add like a few highlights in your background with the same color as well. Now we're having a totally different color. I'm gonna put the coverage down a little bit. Well, kind of a whole lot, because I want some light source here, but not too hard. They were sticking out a bit too much. Okay, nice. I like this. Gonna save again. Now I'm gonna go over it. I'm gonna go back to that blue color we had. Oh, no. Put the coverage higher again. Now I'm not gonna take. Oh, I'm gonna take something darker now. I'm gonna make it pretty dark now, but don't worry, I'm gonna adjust that. Also gonna put a bit here. Don't want too many of those small things sticking out too much. Oh, that's okay. Well, because I want a difference in there. Yeah, nice. That's pretty cool, right? By adjusting these layer styles, we can make it more transparent as well. And we're also gonna decrease the coverage, but I like to have it at 100% to see which one gives the nicest thing. See, this one is also probably the one I'm gonna go for. This gives me what I wanted, more contrast in the background, and with a smaller. But I'm gonna keep going. Because really sometimes with these abstract you can get like cool stuff like this, but unfortunately it's only too small part. See, sometimes this can also be really nice, the difference in colors, giving you like a color you might not have wanted, but that goes better with it. And I'm gonna go with one of these, I think, because it actually exclusion on this. I was planning on adding some yellow into it, and now I don't have to do that anymore, because this gave me the texture and the color kinda I wanted. I'm gonna add it in the light sources as well later on. Let's see what it looks like on a smaller size, so you can see like the composition a bit better and stuff. You can also rotate it, which is also pretty good. But I am most of the times do that later. Yeah, no. Let's see what that does now. Image rotate. I'm gonna go counterclockwise because in my head I've already thinking about it at counterclockwise direction. Not with the clock. This is counterclockwise, of course. Kind of like both. Now I'm gonna try something. Because of this, I just thought of this because we wrote it like this. I'm gonna apply the image on a new layer, and then I'm gonna rotate that layer 108 degrees so it comes to the counterclockwise. And now go through the layer styles and you can get one. Cool parts. Yeah, most of the times you just want to go for one of the darker color or linear express if you want to go for this, but so far I'm not liking how it goes. I'm just gonna put it on normal. I kind of like actually how this is. I rarely see things with which is at top but nothing at the bottom, except if you're going for website design and stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it like this. I'm gonna rotate it again to what we had at the start. I'm gonna keep going like this because I kinda like this composition as well. That's why I was going for it. But sometimes with the rotating you might wanna stick with it rotated because you get a new vantage point. Okay, we're gonna do something with this layer, of course. I'm gonna rotate this layer as well. Again, rotate 180 degrees. Let's see what these give. Sometimes these things can make steps easier, or sometimes when you get to exclusion, you can get like really awesome results. And now, let's see, let's think, what are we gonna do with this? Like it so far, what we still need is like the lighting a bit better. Maybe something going through here, something in the sky here, I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna keep this layer for later, maybe I'll use it, maybe I won't. Instead to add some lights. I'm gonna go for linear suppress again. Up. Make it a standard brush again. This is the size I kinda want. What kind of lighting, kind of ordinary lighting I kinda want. Yes. I'm gonna add some light, brighter spots. Well, give us some lighting in this place. It's an abstract piece, so it doesn't have to be too realistic, but it's always nice of you. I think about as well that it kinda shows a bit of the reality as well. How it could be. I'm adding a bit on top of here because it comes from over here. I'm gonna make this wider one, more yellowish as well. Add some here as well. And saving, adding a new layer again. But I'm gonna take like a bluish one now. Darker bluish. Like, not everything that's shining is gonna be the yellowish tone. Some might be the bluish tone. So you might want to add like a few different colors of light source. Well, until you're happy, of course. I think I'm happy with this now. I also like to add like... Now I'm gonna start adding some of my details. I like, again, going with self-made brush types, which we made before. This time we're gonna have them more spread out. Size, jitter, no minimum size. I'm not gonna go. Gonna for a little bit of roundness jitter and angle jitter is okay. Only a little bit of roundness. Spread, we're gonna put it to the max number. Only a few, count jitter a lot. Space in between, we're also gonna make it big space in between. Now we're gonna add some spots on there. The size of our brush, yeah, 50 px is good for this. I'm gonna make them white for now. And wherever I like added some of them, okay, that's too soft, of course. I'm gonna make them 100% is too harsh. Maybe. I'm gonna start out with a few on 100%. And of course, gonna adjust stuff later as well. We're not going with the white ones. It's not gonna suit it here. Sometimes the white suits it really well. Now we're gonna go with red ones. And then later some of the blue ones. Now you wanna make some... I like to add some details to where those things can flow and stuff. You might want to use a different brush source for it. I like using this little round one. It's also really nice with squares. You can make it also bigger details and stuff with it. Like give the people some things to look at. Not too much. And you wanna like hide them a little bit in the red as well. But don't stand out too much. A few here, but not too many, especially there. I wanna use small presses, don't go boo. That can be good sometimes, but wanna use smaller ones most of the time. Okay, now I'm gonna put the coverage down. Put it down a bit more. As you can see, they're different now. Nice to have them like flow away like this. Because the further they are, the less visible you're gonna see them, of course, as well. Okay, quite okay with these red ones now. Saving, adding a new layer, and now I'm gonna add some blue ones. I like to have the different colors in there as well. So you want to take like a bright part of the blue. And I'm gonna stick with the softer one for now. And again, add some details. I like to add them as well at place where the red ones are, so they kind of can compete with each other for the same spaces and stuff. Sometimes you want to add, like where there's blue light source, you want to have the blue ones as well. Be the more dominant ones. A few harder ones in there as well. So so far I'm liking what we're making. I hope you guys are as well. We're gonna use this one again. I'm gonna make a new one. Apply image. I'm gonna use this as layer mask for some stuff. Since I like circles, I'm gonna make a circle shape. Make this into a clipping mask. Now we can move this around a bit. Take the shape and move the shape around a bit. I'm gonna also adjust the size of this circle a bit again. I want a bigger one. And I this one to that side. One. And one. And now if you guys can see what I want to do with this, but I like having these shapes out. Giving extra details. Add another one. This time we're gonna make it more on the other side. Or is this gonna go to the other side? Sometimes you might not, you wanna like center it and then only move it a little bit. And can also give nice details. And on this side we wanna have that as the effect. Let's see. Now I'm gonna add one more. This one I'm gonna place on this side. Oh. Make this one bigger again. Now it's kind of like the center is being boxed in by these things as well. This is what I like about this. You might not like as much, but I like this kind of details. Gives people things to like look at and discover. And now we're gonna add another finishing touch that I like to do. Pretty small. Yeah, strong coverage. A lot of people don't like this in my works, but I like this. Okay, this is too small of a brush. So I'm working on a size like this. Smaller brushes have too much. This is much easier if I would have my tablet now, but I like to make these small lightning-like details. I'm gonna take a different color. I'm gonna put this behind the ovals. So you can go behind them. A few testing ones. Sometimes it doesn't work, so I give up, but I like these lines as well. A lot actually, so that's why I try to add them a lot. Give something extra to it. Okay, now go from there more. Yeah, that's pretty cool. There's a few of those tiny detail lights. Let's see that they don't stand out too much. Razor, on a hard brush, because the other brush was a hard brush as well. So. Oh, fuck. I know what I'm doing now. Eraser. Back to the brush. Of course, I used my eraser last time as a special effect. That like different shapes, like the cloud shapes we were using before, out of my image. So it was random. That's why it wasn't doing what I wanted it to do over there. This. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay there as well. It doesn't stand out too much. Here we're gonna make it softer. I don't know what I said before. Like, goes into it better. Oh, we've been working for quite a while. My music stopped. Well, this is about the time that we're gonna stop here as well. So, good timing. Now, maybe you want to do this with the blue as well. I might do this later, but since I'm gonna stop for now soon, I'm gonna go and show you how I normally finish this now. I'm gonna apply the image again on new layer. I'm going to filter. I'm gonna add some more sharpness in the background and contrast. It's something I learned long time ago. Don't want to have this too hard. Mostly at the standard of 10. It's pretty nice. And if you put it on coverage, you can see it now already. It like gives some of the extra texture and stuff. If you zoom in more, you can see more what it does. It enhances everything a little bit more, which I like. I like having enhanced stuff. Brings out the details. And now we want to have some blur as well for some rid of some of the background sharpness. Gonna apply the image again. Normally you might want to erase some of this layer so you have more of blurry part here and not so sharp. But I'm gonna fix this with this part. So this is also one I like to do. To have like a blur and a movement and a depth at the same time. The radial blur. See, it's like this. I'm gonna put this right here. Like where you want the details and the focus to be, put center part of your blur. And I like a zoom. Well, it's pretty high and good quality. Good or best. And then let's see. And you put your cursor on where you want it and hope it's almost at a good point. Oh, this looks nice, yes. Like in the coverage. Ooh. Darken. As you can see, it gives really cool effects if you go through the layer styles and stuff. Okay. Nope. The coverage of that layer a bit less, of course, because we don't want it too hard. It's gonna look nice later with more contrast. Our image. Also give some. I'm gonna keep the normal one because I like the colors actually reduced. Okay, gonna use a mask on this. Gonna take a brush tool, a soft round one, and take a big one to start out with. That's big. That's good to start out with. Gonna take black, take lower coverage. Then you're gonna bring out the detail parts again. You really want to take out. Okay, once you've done that, put the coverage way lower again. And go for other parts around the details. You can keep an eye out where exactly you are in these background parts. But you don't want too much of the background to be sharp again. Unless you want the parts you want people to focus on to be sharp again. And you can like remove it to see. I might want that back. Yeah, I like this. And now I'm gonna add a gradient. Oh, I like this actually. And I was gonna add a normal black and white, but let's see if this can give me my contrast and maybe change a bit of the color. See, like this, sometimes like this you can get awesome colors, effects. And you can go off of this and then add your light sources again and stuff. Will enhance them a bit more. Because this is an awesome version, don't you think? And this just whoop, whoop, kind of reversed. Pop load things. I don't think this red is gonna give me what I wanted, but it might on some of these. I'm going through these now at full coverage, 'cause sometimes you want them really at full coverage. This also gives me something pretty cool, but a lot of work again to finish up actually afterwards. I might use the difference ones again, but on a lesser opacity. This one is also gives me pretty cool stuff over here, but the other parts are really good, wonky. Yeah, I'm going with this one because I'm liking this one. I'll put it lower. Yeah. It fixes the colors a bit. And now for another gradient, normal black and white one. For more contrast again. Let's see. I might stop it over here, yes. No, I wanna do one more thing to try for some of the color adaptation. And then gradient. This time I'm gonna use the red. Oh, no, I don't want this green, blue. Or a darker version of that is. But this part is like a little bit of experimentation for the color and contrast of the end result. And saturation. There's just a lot of saturation as well. Like this one to add like some of the parts there. That's the color. And because you also still get some bright spots. I'm afraid this is gonna be too bright. Because most of the times I have it too bright. No, let's turn this down a little bit. Yes. Most of the time my works are too bright. And voila, here we are. This is finished for now. Sometimes I open it up again to add some stuff later. Now you want to add your signature and then just save it and show it to other people and maybe print it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. See you next time. Peace.